Welcome to the August 2013 Weather Ready Nation briefing conducted by the Weather Service offices in Billings and Glasgow. Start out by looking at how temperatures have been for the last 30 days and the last 90 days. On our top image you can see a large part of the country below normal temperatures, and that extends into Wyoming and into Montana. But out to the west of us, things have been above normal for the last 30 days and also kind of the trend for the last 90 days. Little cooler to the east, much warmer to the west for the last 3 months. If we look at precipitation, the top image is showing what the past 30 days have seen, and you can see some areas showing 2 to 4 inches of moisture, maybe even a little bit higher than that embedded with some of the thunderstorms that have come through. And if you look at the bottom right, overall, you're seeing a lot of blues and purples showing that we've been well above normal, anywhere from 150 to 300-400% of normal for the last 30 days. But there are a few places that stick out where they've been below normal, and especially out to the west in southwest Montana, western Montana, Idaho, into Nevada and Utah. If we look nationally at the last 3 months, the percent of normal, Montana really sticks out like a sore thumb for having a lot of moisture compared to the rest of the country versus what our normals would be. And you can see this large area with a lot of below normal precipitation, and this is where a lot of our fire activity is actually occurring in recent weeks. Looking at the outlook, this is a little different than what we normally show you for whether we're looking at an El Nino or a La Nina type event. This is every 3 months out to March, April, May. And the time frame we're looking at is in the winter months for an El Nino or a La Nina to occur. These lines are the climatological normal, so what we would normally see in a given year. So we tend to see a little more La Nina than El Ninos, but neutral we don't see quite as much of in that November, December, January, and December, January, February time frame. So the lines are what's normal, but the bar graphs is the probabilistic forecast, and you can see we're green all the way into next spring. The green bars really outweigh the blue La Nina and the red El Nino forecasts. So again, there's a pretty strong confidence that we will stay neutral through the winter months and into the springtime. What does that mean? Well, not so much in September, actually. We have above normal temperatures forecast for the western United States. Equal chances one way or the other for the eastern half of the state. And as far as precipitation goes, equal chances of things being above normal, below normal, or normal. As we look at the 3-month outlook though, September, October, and November, you can see temperature-wise, big EC, again, equal chances of it being above, below, or normal. But for precipitation, there's an above normal bullseye over the state. Now, if this occurs, this would be great for our wildfire situations that we're dealing with, and it'll also help put some subsoil moisture down for the farmers as they get into the planting season next spring. What is into that forecast though? As I dug a little deeper, they're not really looking at any oceanic circulations or upper circulations. They're basically looking at what's been persisting. We have been above normal. They just foresee that that trend will likely continue. The Farmer's Almanac was put out yesterday, and there's all kinds of people talking about it on social media and on the news and all over the place. And I just wanted to show this is the National Weather Service forecast from the Climate Prediction Center. It does vary quite a bit from the Farmer's Almanac. This one here, as you can see, the only real telling trend temperature-wise is November, December, January, showing that we could be above normal for the half of the state, while the other half of the state could be normal to above or maybe even a little below. But again, this is really the only real signature for Montana. As far as precipitation goes though, October, November, December, and November, December, January is showing a trend to see things being above normal. And again, most of that is based off of the persistence and what we've been seeing for the last few months. Looking at the drought nationwide, things are improving in parts of the country, but you can still see a pretty broad area of the western United States that's dealing with some type of drought. But it is nice to see there's less red and deep red that's occurring, the extreme and exceptional droughts that have been going on. But as you can see from southwestern Montana all the way down into California, this is a pretty broad area. And again, this is where a lot of our wildfires are currently occurring. Looking more into our region, there's Montana and also Wyoming. And again, most of Montana is in pretty good shape except for the southwest and into the western mountains. And for Wyoming, they've really oscillated back and forth over the last few years from being extremely dry to extremely wet, and now they're back into an extremely dry period except for their northeastern portion of the state. Some of the big events in the last month since our last briefing, we'll take a look at this. On July 24th, a lot of thunderstorms that occurred moving from the northwest to the southeast. This is a precipitation plot, but you can see where some of the heavier colors are, the darker colors, the yellows. A lot of this was hail that was involved in there and contaminated with it. So heavy rainfall as well as very large hail. Macomb County took the brunt of this, and a lot of crop loss occurred through some of this event. But you can see Valley County, parts of Phillips, and Garfield County as well. August 1st, pretty significant supercell thunderstorm came across. At 2 o'clock in the afternoon, it was over by Salmon, Idaho, and as it continued to move east-northeast, approaching the Billings National Weather Service area, at 6 o'clock at night, we started seeing winds of 60 miles an hour. By 7, we had golf ball size hail, windows being broken out of homes. 8 o'clock, 90-mile-an-hour wind gusts with mobile homes destroyed. By 9 p.m., a little bit less hail, a little bit less on the winds, but still going strong. And even at 10 o'clock, it was near Hardin. So you can see very long-lived storm, held itself together very well, producing severe weather the majority of the way through. You can see these are some of the damage photos from the Acton area. Quite a bit of damage for some folks. 2 days later, the Ash Creek burn area had some very, very heavy rainfall and a reservoir blew out. It caused many gravel roads to wash out in the area, and they had a lot of hail as well and a lot of debris with that water as those debris flows came down. You can see in the pictures some of the water washed out over 7 feet of the bank that was along this creek bed. Also, a small tornado touched down. Thankfully, it was an open area, didn't impact anything, and so therefore was rated an F0. August 5th, lots of warnings as these storms kept forming over Valley and Roosevelt County. The worst damage started occurring just north of Poplar. That's when we started getting really severe reports, and it traveled southeast and ended just to the northwest of the Sidney area. Very significant crop damage in Richland County. You can see this barn was destroyed. It had been retrofitted last year to help keep the structure around longer, but these winds were in excess of 90 to 100 miles an hour. Lots of power lines that were down and poles that were snapped. Just northwest of Sidney, again, here was a home that was probably totally destroyed as the roof was lifted off and some of the frame of the house was twisted some as those really strong 100-mile-an-hour plus winds occurred. August 6th, the very next day, Sidney got hit. They didn't really get much from the storm the day before, and people were kind of unaware of how significant the damage was. But when this one hit town where the population is based, it got a lot of attention in their local media. You can see the strong winds cracked a tree here, took the tree down. Hail was up to 1 inch around the area, and it was collecting in sheets across the area. So again, very impressive. And a few days later, Sydney gets hit again. Very, very heavy rainfall. You can see that the drains just were not going down very well, and so we ended up having a lot of water across some of the streets in town. Thankfully, it was short-lived flash flooding. Didn't take long for it to eventually drain out, but definitely eye-opening when you see photos like this. Just north of Sydney, we had a report of 2.24 inches in about an hour with this storm. So again, very, very heavy rainfall, which is kind of odd. Usually in August we get the drier thunderstorms. It's not unheard of, but it is kind of strange. Then we're going into wildfire season. In the Billings area for the Weather Service, they've got two major wildfires that they've been working with. One is was the Immigrant Fire. The name has since changed, but that's down in the Paradise Valley. It's been ongoing for a while, and it's not near any population centers, so they've been working on containing it, but they have also allowed some of it to burn just a bit. Rock Creek south of Red Lodge, this one did cut off Highway 212 for a while and is actively being pursued, and they're working on containing this one as well. Thought we'd take a quick look. On Monday, August 26th, there were 38 large wildfire incidents in the United States. The good news is when I checked this morning, Tuesday, August 27th, we were down to 32. So there was some improvement. They were able to mark some of these major fires as contained. One thing we are hearing a lot about, though, is the smoke, and people who have asthma and other lung conditions are having a hard time breathing right now. If you go to this website down here at the bottom of the page, you can actually look and see what the surface smoke forecast projections are. Obviously, where the red and the dark brown are is going to be your heavier smoke concentrations, and where some of the lighter beige colors are is some smoke that could be a problem, but it's going to be a lot more dispersed and your visibility is going to be much improved. There's also a vertical smoke index that you can look at on this page. Shows things that are similar, but it also shows how high the smoke can be lofted and how that lofted smoke might impact a region. And again, you would see more of the hazy sun and the orange moons with that vertical smoke. So again, something to kind of take a look at if you know people who are impacted by heavy smoke issues, or to share with your local health departments. Just a reminder, mark it on your calendars. Winter Weather Awareness Week is October 21st through the 25th. Tom and I are more than happy to work with you guys on anything you might want to do, or any ideas that you have. So just let us know. And next month's briefing will just be a YouTube briefing. Tom is on the evening shifts and I will actually be in Denver. So nobody will be here the morning of Tuesday, September 24th. But we will have a briefing for you. And you can always contact us anytime during the week by email, by phone. We're happy to help you. Thank you very much.